Hi, it's Indira from yogawithindira.co.uk. So this month I wanted to talk to you about back bends. So back bends are something that we don't really incorporate into our everyday life. Most of our day-to-day activity involves variations of a forward bend. So if we're sitting at a desk for long periods of time, we're kind of like this. When we're cooking, when we're washing up, when we're driving, we're always coming into a forward bend. So in yoga, by doing back bends, we can help to increase the strength in the back, increase our range of mobility as well. And quite often with back bends, we make the mistake of thinking the deeper we go into the back bend, the better, but it's really not about that. And also there's a misconception that you can damage your back by doing back bends. Well, yes, technically you can, but back bends are no more likely to injure you than, say, a forward bend. In fact, because we're doing so many forward flexions, that's where we get the wear and tear. So as long as you do back bends safely, they can actually bring you lots of benefits. So the main thing to remember is to really engage your core and to always listen to your body. Stop if you experience pain, just back off, okay? It's fine to experience a little bit of discomfort, but not pain, okay? So part of your practice will teach you to make that distinction between pain and discomfort. So we're going to start on our tummies. And back bends really don't have to be very deep in order for them to be effective. So we're going to start with a very gentle back bend. So you've got one hand on top of the other, forehead on your hands, elbows wide, shoulders relaxed, pointing the toes away, so you don't want your heels flopping out. The legs are nice and active, engaging your core muscles. And you're just going to start by lifting the elbows up off the floor. Keep the head and the hands down. And then really activating your core, bringing your head up, and keep looking down at the floor. So you want to avoid straining the neck, okay? So keep looking down at the floor, and then you can just hold this pose for as long as you feel comfortable, probably around 5 nice long deep breaths. And remember not to hold the breath when you hold the pose, and then carefully coming down. So that's quite a good one to start with, to warm up with. Now we're going to do cobra pose. So there are different variations of cobra pose, but I'm going to teach you the variation that I use in all my classes. So quite often in cobra pose, you'll see people pushing themselves up with their arms like this, failing to engage the core, and actually the back's not doing anything. So we're going to do it differently. So the tops of your fingers should be level with the tops of your shoulders. So if someone was looking down on you from above, they wouldn't see your hands. Your legs are nice and active. It's fine to keep the legs apart. If you bring them together, make sure that you're not clenching the buttocks, because that will cause a constriction in the lower back. You should roll your shoulders down away from your ears, draw your belly up and in, and then with an in-breath, slowly coming up, keeping the elbows tucked in. So what you want to avoid doing is jutting your chin out, leading with the chin, okay? And then slowly come down, so ease in, ease out. So if you're doing a back bending sequence in between stretches, you can either place one hand on top of the other, forehead on the hands to just relax, or you can bring your arms by your side, turn your head to the side so you've got one ear on the mat. Okay, so just resting, just pausing in between poses. Okay, so now we're going to do a different variation of cobra. In this variation, you're going to bring your hands up off the floor. So what I like about this variation is that because the hands are coming up, you can't rely on your hands and arms to push yourself up. You're totally reliant on the muscles in the back. So we start the same way as before. The only difference is when we inhale and come up, the hands come up with us. So as you can see, I'm really not coming up very high at all. You may come up higher. The point is it doesn't really matter. and then coming back down again and relaxing, so you turn your head the other side this time. So the point with your back bends is that you shouldn't judge your progress in terms of how high up you come, it's more about how you feel. Okay, so if your back feels better, if you feel better when you're sitting down on the floor, then you know that your practice is effective. Okay, so now we're going to do locust pose. So for this one, you bring your arms underneath your body. Your little fingers are touching, palms facing down. So that can feel quite awkward. If you really can't bear it, then have your arms by your side with the palms facing down. But really, the only way to get used to it is to try it. So maybe you can do it for increasing lengths of time, alternate between taking the arms out to the side and bringing them underneath you. So with this pose, your chin is on the mat, so your neck's in line with the spine, and we're going to be lifting one leg at a time, and then you can also try and lift both legs together. So we start by really pointing the toes of the right foot, so the right knee comes up off the floor. Again, you're engaging your stomach muscles, and then on an in-breath, bring the leg up. So when you bring the leg up, just bring it up directly in a straight line. Don't lean or tilt onto the other side of the body. And then you bring it back down again, and then we'll do it on the other side. And bring it back down again. And then you can do both legs together. So this can be very, very challenging for a lot of people. And in my experience, it tends to be more challenging for women than it is for men. Okay, so for this one, you'll be bringing your mouth onto the mat. So you bring your mouth down. And then you come out of it. So some people are able to lift their legs very high. You can see that in my case, my legs don't come up very high at all. A lot of it will be down to your anatomical build, so don't get hung up on it. And then bring your hands underneath your shoulders, push yourself up. And the last back bend I wanted to finish with is camel pose. So again, this is a pose that I often see performed incorrectly. So with camel pose, the idea is to open up the chest and lift from the heart. So you start by placing your hands on either side of your sacrum, elbows back, shoulders down, engaging your stomach muscles, and then on an in-breath, you're going to really lift up from the heart as if you're trying to push your heart up towards the ceiling. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Okay, keep lifting and opening. So with camel pose, once you feel comfortable in the pose, you might tuck your toes under and reach for your heels. But just listen to your body. So if you feel any pain in your back, then obviously back off. So what you should avoid doing in this pose is just throwing the head back and leaning back. If you do that, you're going to feel a lot of strain in your lower back. So please listen to your body. So that's it for our little back bending sequence. And then next time we'll be doing some forward bends. So once you've done forward bends, you're probably going to feel like, once you've done some back bends, you're going to feel like doing some forward bends. So it's all about balance.